Hello, this is Bill Steffen. Hey, I tell you what, we got the coldest air that we've seen since last February descending upon lower Michigan. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the low 20s. We could see wind chills for a while today, down around 10 above. Well, here's a look at season snowfall so far. We've had a lot of it. Topping the state's list is Marquette and Herman. Herman is a little bit of a town just the west of Marquette. And they've had about 51, 52 inches of snow so far this winter. Muskegon, 26.3. Muskegon averages about 87 inches of snow during the course of the winter. Howland right behind at around 21 inches. We got about a foot and a half at Scottville, 15 inches at Houghton Lake. Kalamazoo with a little bit more than Grand Rapids there, 14.7. And Lansing, you get a little bit farther away from the lake there, and their season total so far is at 9 inches. We do have more snow on the way, and especially for the eastern upper peninsula. There is one county in pink, that is Chippewa County. Sault Ste. Marie is part of Chippewa County, and they expect 6 to 12 inches of new snow there, coming pretty much off the lake. And then the three counties to the west under a winter weather advisory for anywhere from about 3 to 7 inches of snow there. So anybody traveling in that direction is going to be certainly running on into some slippery roads up there. Well, I'll take a look at some more snow totals for you. This is what we expect over the next 66 hours. There's a big atmospheric river coming into the Pacific Northwest. That means a lot of rain for the coastal areas. And once you get up in the mountains, a lot of snow. The Cascades, the Bitterroots, down to Yellowstone National Park and down into Colorado, all seeing some hefty snow totals there. And you can see the snow downwind from the Great Lakes here, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. The heaviest snow, of course, up there near Tequamanon Falls. I could see upwards of a foot of snow there. But let's zoom in a little bit closer. We'll take a look at the Great Lakes area here. If you're west of 131, there will certainly be a chance for a little bit of snow, much of that coming Friday night into Saturday. And I think next Tuesday, we could be seeing a couple of inches of snow here. Bottom line is this is very dry air coming over the Great Lakes. And even though this is a very cold air mass, and the contrast between Lake Michigan and the air aloft is going to be pretty extreme, we're not going to see much lake effect snow because the general air mass here is just so bone dry here. But again, the heavier snow will be up there along the Lake Superior shoreline. All right, lakeshore forecast. The lake is going to start out pretty choppy in the morning, probably close to 6 feet, but probably cool off back to 2 to 3 feet by late in the day. We could see some gusts up around 35 miles an hour yet in the morning. Water temperatures continue to drop. Holland Channel was down to 36, and Reed's Lake 38. Small craft advisories in effect today. So for all of you itching to get out and doing some fishing, probably want to stay off the piers and breakwaters, especially during the morning. The picture there is from the South Haven Channel, and the pier light there pretty much covered up by that wave coming in and going over the top of the light. Okay, headlines. Colder, low 20s this afternoon. This is one of those days where the high temperature for the day is going to occur at 12:01 a.m. And what happens is after that, the temperature starts to fall. And temperatures in the afternoon when the sun is out are going to be certainly colder than it was during the middle of the night as this colder air is moving in. There'll be a chance for some slick spots here during the day today. Especially watch out for driveways, parking lots, and sidewalks. The main roads have been salted. They're not in bad shape. We did get some freezing drizzle here yesterday, but I know my driveway has still got a couple of icy spots, and that was the case in some of the sidewalks I was on here during the day as well. The next significant snow will probably come next Tuesday. Temperature 22 degrees this afternoon. That's all we're going to see. Wind chills will be at best around 10 to 15. The wind perks up. It'll be down around 5 to 10. Now, there's an outside chance for a flurry, but really wouldn't amount to too much. More clouds than not over the next several days, but some breaks in the clouds as well. Humidity a little lower this afternoon at 65%. Winds start out northwest and then go west-southwest late in the day as the wind probably about 12 to 15 miles an hour early could taper off to 5 to 8 miles an hour by evening. And some high temperatures here. Afternoon readings. Look at across the lake. Chicago afternoon high temperature 16. Milwaukee 16. There are places in Iowa and Illinois that are going to set daily record low temperatures down between about 5 and 15 below zero. So this is really January cold here. You can see up in the UP, temperatures up there in places are only going to be in the mid-teens here this afternoon. And there's a look at the temperatures on Friday, a couple degrees warmer. We'll be back up into the mid-20s here in inland areas. Readings at the lake may be a couple degrees warmer, and Chicago should be about 10 degrees warmer as well. So Friday, not a bad day. The lake stays fairly breezy, though, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so we'll likely hang on to small craft advisories here much of the weekend. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast, 22 today, 25 on Friday. Warmest day is Saturday at 31, but with a chance of snow. I've got that at 60%. Then temperatures cool off again. The average high temperature for the 5-day period is 40. So those temperatures are significantly colder than average for this time of year. And taking a look at much of the country, it's kind of interesting. Look at the high temperature map here for the area. Shows warm temperatures in the western United States and cold temperatures in the eastern United States. So that's the pattern that we're going to be seeing here. Coldest temperatures just off to our west. And you can see it stays warm down in Florida, and in the western United States looks pretty good there as well. The 8 to 14 day outlook calls for temperatures here to be once again warmer than average in the south and cooler than average in the north, including the Great Lakes. We'll go on to the next slide there, and there it is. You can see a pretty sharp dividing line between warmer air in like Colorado and Kansas and colder air off across the northern and northeastern U.S. And in terms of rainfall and snowfall precipitation, we should be just a touch above average here. So all in all, not a bad forecast if you like winter. I know Santa's going to be happy with that forecast. Looks like the cold air mass is going to stick around here right on through most of the rest of the month.
Sorry about that. This kitty cat joined us and was changing our slides, weren't you? Yeah.
You know how many times I've had that happen? And I mean, I've got 3 cats.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they come. And I've had one of my cats likes to sleep on my computer
because it's warm. He doesn't really like to be held. I'm surprised he tolerated that even.
Another one likes to sit on the cable box, and it would turn the TV on in the middle of the night. I'd hear these voices and go, "What's that?" I come in here and here's the kitty looking at me going, "Ha ha ha! I woke you up."
Hey, hi, Holly.
We put a glass cooking dish over the top of the cable box, and we got something there to hold it so that the heat doesn't build up. But
you want to go? I think we're done. Here he goes. Okay.
And that was Allie.
Yes, that's Allie. All right. We call him Ollie Fur.
Okay.
Okay. Bill, what exactly causes the gate to open and have the cold air rush down from Canada? How do you know when, where, and for how long it will stay? What factors go into a prediction like that?
Well, when you're talking long-range weather, you're looking at a number of different indices that we look at, and we look at such things as the La Nina pattern, which is going on. I've got to show that map once again. La Nina is a pattern characterized by cold water along the equator in the Pacific Ocean. And we know that when we go into this La Nina pattern, it changes the weather patterns over the entire world. And we look across the U.S. and we find out, what's going on off to the north. This morning, Arctic Village, Alaska, was 28 below zero. And I mean, this is not like mid-January. This is, we're just starting December, and we're getting temperatures that cold. So the air that sits over that, obviously in December, there's virtually no sunshine in Alaska to speak of that warms you up. So that cold air just kind of builds up, and then it has to go somewhere. And we like the really cold air to kind of go across the pole into Siberia. But so Siberia says, enough cold air here. We've got to shove that down in the temperate zones. But we look for such things. I mean, you've heard of the polar vortex before. I just read Dr. Ryan Maui, and he's talking about the polar vortex and where that's located right now and how little pieces of that are trying to scoot down into the United States. But there's so much that goes into it. We look at years when we've had a similar pattern. like this. If in 2018, 2019, we had a fairly similar pattern. So we look at that year and go back and say, okay, that year we had a lot of snow at the lakeshore. So pretty interesting.
All right. Thank you for your question. All right. First trivia question for the day. December 4, 1844, Michigan Central College opened its doors. Later, it would be renamed this. It was the first American college to ban racial, religious, and gender discrimination directly in its charter.
December 4, 1844. So that's before the Civil War. Michigan Central College opened its doors. Okay. Central part of the state would be Michigan State, maybe. Later, it would be renamed this. It was the first American college, not university, you wrote, to ban racial, religious, and gender discrimination directly in its charter. That last part would lead me to believe it would be Hillsdale. Is that correct?
Yay! You better get that right. You gave them a lot of money.
I did. That is true, and they did, and they had. In fact, there's an interesting article I read on when Frederick Douglass visited Hillsdale College.
Yep.
And there were so many people that came to see him that they were looking through the windows and, massed outside. And, he was quite the celebrity. Mm-hmm. And that, I believe, was before the Civil War. But that's interesting. But yeah.
So the gave them a lot of money joke is, if you don't already know us, I went to Hillsdale. I graduated in 2004. So you better get that one right. Right.
And you were a history major with a very good grade point, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was basically the pre-law degree that school had.
Well, your undergrad grades were a whole lot better than mine were when I was at Wisconsin.
Well, there wasn't much to do in Hillsdale.
Yeah. Well, Wisconsin, there was too much to do, believe it or not. And that was interesting. Wisconsin was fun, but I did work hard to get through. And I did not want to remain in the university environment forever. I wanted to get out and see the world and earn some money and forecast weather. Neat.
Okay, on December 4, 1954, the first Insta Burger King opened in Miami, and they called it Insta Burger because they used something called an Insta broiler to cook the burgers at the time.
Yeah, in fact, I knew that Burger King started in Miami. It's interesting where they started. McDonald's, the two McDonald's brothers were out in California, but the first real true McDonald's was in Des Moines, Illinois. Arby's started in, I believe, Ohio, and RB stands for the initials RB I think it's the Rotman brothers. It's something brothers, Rotman brothers that started that. Pizza Hut, I believe, was started by a couple of college students in Wichita, Kansas. Boy, the first thing I think of when I think of Wichita is pizza, right? They had, I think, 2 tables, 8 chairs when they first opened up. Who am I missing here? Wendy's, of course, was Dave Thomas, and he was also in Ohio, I think Columbus, Ohio. And Wendy was his daughter. So that was interesting. But it's really neat. I always thought maybe I should write a little summary of fast food, because the people that started fast food chains are really amazing people.
What is your favorite fast food of all time?
I split it up. There's just, McDonald's always had great French fries. Burger King had a great burger.
How can you split it up when the obvious answer is Mr. Fables?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Fables, which is no more, right? Mr. Fables is all over West Michigan.
Tragic.
Yeah, we used to go and you get your chicken strips, and I'd get breakfast foods. Mm-hmm. And they were so nice to us. They had a fun machine where you could put your nickel in, and they would always give you.
And the lady at the counter would hook me up with nickels until I got what I wanted.
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Mr. Fables on Alpine is now a Fricano's Pizza place, and we actually went up there about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, okay, their pizza is also amazing.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
There are about 6,700 Burger King restaurants in the United States today. There are 19,700 Burger Kings worldwide in more than 100 countries. The United States has the most by a lot, followed by China.
Wow, you can go to China and get a Whopper, huh?
And I kind of wonder what counts in that statistic, because when I was in Australia for that 6 months in high school, they have a restaurant called Hungry Jack's, which is the same thing, but called Hungry Jack's. So
Oh,
is that
okay.
counted in the 19,000? I don't know.
Fast food is good. It really is, and that's
Hmm.
something that's really changed in the United States because there were just not many people that would go out to dinner on a typical weeknight in the United States, and all of a sudden we had all these fast food restaurants popping up. And I remember when Ray Kroc founded McDonald's, he was so enamored with the idea that people could drive up to a window and get their food, and then drive on their way. If they were going somewhere, they could just keep going, and if they were going to have a picnic or something like that, they could grab the food and run like that, and everything was cheap. Initially, a hamburger at McDonald's was 15 cents. I believe it was an extra nickel to put a slice of cheese on it. Small Coke was 15 cents. Fries, I think, were 15 cents.
Mm-hmm.
That was very interesting.
On the trip that we were just on, we took a ferry from Helsinki, Finland to Tallinn, Estonia for the day. And on the ferry, there was a Burger King.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So did you get something or
No?
no? Okay,
No,
yeah.
but we
That's
could have.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember when I grew up in the Chicago area when at the rest stops they had Howard Johnson's,
Hmm.
and of course then that kind of moved into something else as time went on.
Mm-hmm.
How much did a Whopper cost in 1986? Okay, 1986. I'll guess 50 cents. Oh, $1.54. Well,
So to put it in context, adjusted for inflation, that would be $4.55 today. But today, a Whopper, depending on location, is about $7.39. So the prices have gone up and outpaced inflation considerably.
yes, and that's true with a lot of food items, but there's so much that goes into the price of a Whopper.
And I worked right at the one by WZZM, and I want to say that a Whopper Junior was $1.39, $1.50, and a
Mhm.
Whopper was about $2.50 at the time, and that was in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just wild guesses from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I think the medium soda was $1.19, and that's how they made a lot of their profit.
yeah. I was a golf caddy and did a little even before that I cut grass and raked leaves around the neighborhood, but I never worked at a fast food restaurant.
It was fun.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to do.
It was the one by WZZM, so I would see the people on TV come through.
Mm-hmm. Neat.
And, since you were one of them, I knew who they all were. So
Yeah,
it was fun to recognize them, and they tend to like being recognized.
yeah, I would go in there occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't been in that Burger King in a long time. But yeah, $7.39 now, but that's a meal in of itself. You don't really need a lot of the accompaniments if you got a Whopper. That's your calories for the morning and noon.
Mm-hmm. And
But
it was
they're
right
good.
next to a gas station, and I did money for the drive-through, and I'd open the window, and they'd say, "Oh, how are you?" And I would say, "Oh, haha, just watching gas prices rise." And I must have made that same joke 200 times a day, day after day after day.
Wow, and it still worked.
And I think gas at the time was 99 cents a gallon. So,
Mm-hmm. Neat. Yeah, there are fast food restaurants that are in gas stations now, and of course, a lot of gas stations do their own.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay. This iconic airline ceased operations on December 4, 1991. It was the largest international air carrier of the United States. Founded in 1927 to fly from Key West to Havana, it transported passengers and mail. In 1970, it provided service to 86 countries.
Wow, from Key West to Havana. Not
Mm-hmm.
many people making that route today, I wouldn't think.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, and it was the largest international air carrier of the United States. Would it be Northwest Orient? Oh, Pan Am. Yes, that's right,
Mm-hmm.
Pan Am.
And I don't remember Pan Am, but I was not paying attention to aviation when I was 9.
Yeah, well, I remember in the Midwest we had Republic Airlines with a blue goose on the tail. Yeah, I used to kid people that their theme song was "Bump, Bump and Away" instead of "Up, Up and Away."
There is a Republic Airways today. I wonder if it's related.
I don't know. I think it was absorbed by somebody. So many of the smaller airlines the regional ones were absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
The big three are United, Delta, and American.
You've got to add Southwest to that now too.
Oh, Southwest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I watched a really interesting documentary on Pan Am and, the golden age of travel, as they called it.
And they started from Key West to Havana,
Mm-hmm.
which is what, about 90, 100 miles to get between the two?
Mm-hmm.
So, the same plane could bounce back and forth like 5 or 6 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
If it's only
But the aviation industry is highly regulated, and I guess Pan Am struggled with some of the deregulation that happened in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, you got to find a niche.
Mm-hmm.
One thing or another there. With some, it's how to make it as inexpensive as possible, and with others, it's having people in the background that will always find your luggage.
All right. Oh, we've got amazing pictures today. And thank you so much to everyone who sends us photos. It's so awesome that you're contributing something, and we love every single one of them. So 18 inches of snow on that table.
Yeah, and that's a lot of snow. I saw that St. Ignace has about 16 inches of snow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So it snowed a lot up there. I imagine there's a ton of snow on Mackinac Island.
Mm-hmm.
I should go find out if I can use one of the webcams from up there on the island, and a lot of those get shut off for the winter, but must be one there that we could use. We have to get permission to use the webcams around the area here.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to Holland for letting me use theirs. The city of Holland has about 7 of them, and they have corporate sponsors on 1 or 2 of them. So, but really neat how to do that. And 18 inches, that's a lot of snow. And as cold as it is, that's not going anywhere. That's not going to be melting off anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So thanks, Joe. Lovely. And there's a snow pile.
Look at the snow in Muskegon. I was told by somebody that measured that there were still about 10 to 12 inches in some places there in the Muskegon area. That's a pretty good snow pile.
Yeah. So that'll be there till April.
Yeah, that could be. Depends on how warm we get in March, but
it's funny trying to explain to people down here. Well, the snow plows come and they pile up all the snow in a corner of the parking lot, and then you can't see when you're pulling into traffic. So at some point, you just go for it and hope for the best. And then in mid-March, the snow pile starts to turn this weird brown color on the top as it melts, and then it's finally gone sometime when the winter's finally over. And
yeah,
then it gets hot.
Looks pretty out there now, especially when it sticks to the trees and the bushes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's a lot of snow.
All right, this was taken by Jennifer Braga and submitted to us by Brian Johnson. And isn't it beautiful how it looks like those clouds make a heart?
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And that was taken back in August. Doesn't it look warm and beautiful?
That looks like there are 2 layers of clouds, the low clouds there sitting over the water, and perhaps some high, thin clouds up above that. Kind of hard to tell here, but pretty picture.
Mm-hmm.
And that was August 24th. August 24th, 2 years ago, I believe, was when we had the severe storms come through the area, and we had the tornado in Alpine Township. So that would be 2024.
Okay, Brian, thanks so much for sending that to us. It's lovely.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's neat. That's from John Doherty. And they had quite a bit of snow up there. I think I saw Honor with about 8 inches of snow on the ground, thereabouts. I know Crystal Mountain is thinking about opening this weekend.
All right.
They may be able to do that. Kind of neat. But not a foot of snow there, but certainly some snow sticking to the roof and to the trees there. It kind of almost looks like a picture that was purposefully done in black and white, but that may be actual color.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's pretty black and white.
Yeah, you really can't tell because everything looks kind of black and white at this time of year.
I don't know where that is, if that's on his property or not.
No, it's neat to see the old barn still intact there.
Yeah. And this is a place that I didn't know existed. This is Rabbit River in Hamilton. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes, it is. There's a couple of nice, dams with water coming over them in Allegan County, and they got the state game area there. I've been to most of the state parks in Allegan County, which are kept up very well.
We're going to have to figure out exactly where the spot is and go see it because it doesn't look like it would be that far of a drive, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the water's up just a bit there.
Yeah, I thought it was somewhere in the UP, and then I read his email. Wait, what? Hamilton?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All
Rabbit River.
Awesome.
Berry and Allegan County flows into the Kalamazoo River, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, neat. Pretty picture.
Yeah, Bernie, thank you so much for sending.
Yeah.
So
hey,
if you
we've
want to
reached the
send
end of the
something,
line.
yeah, if you want to send something to the show, bill@billsteffen.com.
Yeah, we
And
hope you subscribe, and we're gaining subscribers, right?
Yeah, we're doing awesome. Welcome to all the new people. We're so glad that you joined us. Subscribe if you haven't already. We do these shows every single day in some form or another. If anyone wants to sponsor the show, we're open to doing that too. Just contact us.
Yep, sounds good. In the meantime, stay warm out there today. Temperature is going to be 15 to 18 degrees colder than average this afternoon. It'll feel like mid-January. There's still some icy spots out there. Again, a reminder to watch out for parking lots, driveways, sidewalks, even those areas that have been cleared of snow. There was a little bit of melting and then refreezing with the freezing drizzle that we've had out there. So beware, watch your step out there. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching till the end.